Make the ground shake.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Game Hub. I'm your host, Gamer K, and we are in March. Finally! I swear to God, I never thought February would end because, in my opinion, after Valentine's Day, you can just end the whole month after that. But now it's March, and now it is my sister's birth month, and so I decided for every single video in this month's lineup, I will be dedicating it to my sister in a way that dictates one of her personalities and stuff about her. And because this one is going to be one of the most irritating videos I could do about one of the most irritating games I've ever played, it kind of shows her dedication and just how much she pushes past all challenges and gets to the end of her goal. Much like the game Cuphead. If there was a game where I would where that comes with a warning, it may look like a kid's game, but it will make you swear like a goddamn sailor. Cuphead is definitely one of those games. And especially for me, I loved how hard it was, but some bosses just literally made me want to scream and never play it again. And I know a lot of other YouTubers have done a list of Cuphead, or some reviewers have reviewed it, and with all the praises of Cuphead are definitely justified because it's such a hard, fun hard boss fight. It's not where a game where it's right near the end where they crank up the difficulty only if you haven't done specific things. This game is fantastic. And while later in the year I will review it when I get around to it, it is time for Gamer K to rank every boss in Cuphead. From the way I'm doing this, it's going to be a little bit different because I'm not so analytical about how to beat boss fights. Much like my boss fight list with Shattered Dimensions, I will be going on personal preference. So some bosses may be higher on the list for other people, but this is my point of view and how I dealt with the bosses. Couple things though. One, there will be no video showing me bosses because even though I could find some software to edit it in, I am not that talented. And second of all, I'm a cheap Canadian production and damn proud of it. Secondly, I will be including all of the boss fights in King Dice's level individually because I'm not going to pin them all together in one boss fight because they're bosses. They're mini bosses, but they're bosses nonetheless. Also, I will be ranking each of these bosses from 28 to number 1 based on my level of difficulty on them, and I only did them on like the standard mode. I didn't go crazy hard mode because I'm not a glutton for punishment. Also, I never went easy mode for any of them because I wanted a challenge. I wanted to fight these guys at the best that they could be. And I swear to God, if I have to play this game one more time, I am literally going to cry myself to sleep. So let's start doing the list, ladies and gentlemen, with ranking every boss in Cuphead. From easiest to hardest on my perspective. Number 28, Mangosteen. Literally one of the final bosses of King Dice's little 9-boss route. Mangosteen is a magic 8-ball that looks like it was around during Woodstock because he keeps vomiting up rainbows. Or ink. Whichever. He is the easiest boss in the game, mostly because he does practically nothing but spit up black goop at it. Or was it rainbows? I can't remember. He was just throwing up the Dark Side of the Moon poster. And not only that, but he'll also have cue chalks coming up in a pattern, and they're really easy to dodge. Mangosteen is probably one of the only bosses from King Dice's bout that I didn't die or even get hit on at all. So, 8-ball quarter pocket, and he sucks. Number 7, Chips Bettigan. I would not bet any money on this fight for me to lose. Chips Bettigan is a cowboy-themed stack of poker chips where he will spread out once in a while and have some of the chips go in a certain area, high and low, requiring you to jump up or jump down or crouch in order to dodge. And he just does that the entire game. He doesn't, the entire fight. He doesn't even shoot things at you. He just he's basically he just goes from one pile to the next. And my recommendation is use the seeker missiles to get him wherever he goes. Even if you're dodging, you can definitely deal some damage. And it's over before it began. Number 26, Pip and Dot. This domino couple is pretty fun. Their basic board is a domino themed. It's kind of a conveyor belt which goes backwards and it leads to a spiked wall where you will have to keep moving forward and avoid the spiked tiles in order to avoid damage while they're swinging away on their swing. Do you think that means they're swingers? And that joke is going to go over a bunch of kids' heads. So let be. They also shoot out colored dice that can either be dodged or parried if there's a pink one. And they'll also send a domino bird that will fly across the screen and go downwards and then come behind you. Just keep using the seeker missiles and this domino couple will fold. Come in number 25, Mr. Wheezy. Smoking is bad for you kids, so don't do it. I mean, this guy it does, and he died. Mr. Wheezy is a giant cigar in two ashtrays. Much like Chips Bettigan, he'll constantly teleport over the way on the other side of the board, so you'll have to dodge his demon cigarettes that fly through the middle. Either time it right to get through the gap or use the smoke dash in order to avoid damage. He will spit out flames that go up and around so many times. So once again, seeker missiles and put this smoker out. Number 23, the Tipsy Troop, the first boss of King Dice's menagerie of casino-themed lackeys. The Tipsy Troop is basically a bottle of liquor, a martini glass, and a shot glass. And each of them have their own attacks. And you have to defeat all three of them in order to progress through. The Tipsy Troop is basically the root pack if done for alcoholics. The Miss Martini will create a giant floating eyeball olive that will follow you, destroy it, and it's easy. The shot glass will tip over, shooting you with a torrent of liquor, and the bottle of booze will erupt like a volcano, and the booze will come down. Dodging their attacks is simple, and the only reason they're a little bit higher is because the theme is cool. I'll drink to that. One sec. Number 22, King Dice. That's right, I said there were 9 bosses before you fight King Dice, and most of them are better than he is. Once you defeat his merry troop and get to the final boss section of the dice game, he will basically rip off Genie from Aladdin, having his hands become little figurines, walking creatures. He doesn't even fight you himself. He sends out a bunch of dancing playing cards that go across the screen, and with a bunch of pink hearts, which you will have to parry in order to make it across safe, and just keep shooting him while you do so. You ain't never had a friend like me, Mr. Dice Man, and your luck has run out in this boss fight. Coming in at number 21, Goopy Legrande. The boss fight from the actual boss fight list that is actually low on the list. So I would consider him the weakest. Goopy Legrande is just one big blue blob that will bounce around. I feel like this should have been a musical because following the bouncing ball would have been a good joke. He just jumps ahead, and it's in a very recognizable pattern, and the gaps are good for you to dodge. He'll throw out a punch once in a while, but just duck, and you won't have to feel afraid. He will also grow big, and this is your chance to parry. Once the exclamation marks go around him, parry all 3, and he will grow giant and repeat the exact same thing he did before, just, giant. After you beat him in this phase, his tombstone will come back to haunt you and just basically belly flop you like a king flop. Basically, just look out for when he's about to go down, and he'll just keep moving across the stage until he's finally permanently in the grave. Coming in at number 20, the Root Pack. The first boss of the game, and quite honestly, one of the easiest ones to do, but The casino bosses are also on this list, so he's bumped up a little bit. The root pack consists of a giant potato that shoots out dirt and a couple worms, which you will parry. Mash this guy, and he's pretty much easy. Next up is an onion that does nothing but basically cry like a teenager watching a bunch of rom-coms. Dodge the tears falling down and keep doing until this onion is all cried out. And then we get the psychedelic carrot, who will send carrot torpedoes at you while looking like one of those fake psychics on TV while rubbing his head. This carrot may be full of beta carotene, but he is not winning at all. So I have no carrot jokes. So long, Carrot Top. Oh, there was one. Command number 19, Pura Roulette. All honesty, this Russian ballet roulette wheel is a cool idea. Basically, all she does is move across the stage doing her pirouettes, which with pink poker chips throughout on top, which you will need to parry in order to turn them into platforms to dodge her walking. Or you can just dash the opposite way of her and get ready to do that again. And then she'll start pirouetting and releasing the roulette balls that will fall in a certain arrangement. Basically, one of the ones that took the longest for me to learn how to do because of her pirouetting, and it's basically kind of difficult to fight when you're first starting out. So let this Russian girl go down. Command number 18, Hoppus Pocus. Wasn't that the name of the rabbit from Frosty the Snowman? Basically, another magician rabbit theme. God, if I had a nickel for every time a video game did that for a boss fight. He looks like Bugs Bunny's meth addicted cousin. Basically looking all bloodshot eyed and using his magic to attack us. He'll conjure up bunny skulls in a circle, you needing to find out the opening in order to get out of it. And he'll also bring up the card suits in order to attack you. All the hearts are parryable, and basically just keep on doing it until it shows over for this rabbit. Command number 7, Fear Lap. Basically, one of the few aerial battles for the casino bosses. And this horse is in the race to win it. I really enjoy the theme of this, it being one of those horse track gamblings where he's a skeleton horse just moving along and sending you presents once in a while. Make sure to shoot them down or else you'll just get hit. Also, the racers on the bottom of the screen, sometimes there will be a phantom horse rider, and he will come, once he's in your sight, he will go right up and straight up attack him. Fear Lap isn't one of the hardest bosses, but he is one of the coolest ones for the casino theme, and one I did not see coming. So, he's on the list because he's higher up on the list because this horse made an impression. Don't look a gift horse in the mouth, just beat the heck out of him until he's done. Command number 16, Werner Merman, or Werner Vermin. He is basically what happens when Mortimer Mouse embraces communism and German wording. Werner Vermin is a mouse who is in a tank that is a soup can. Basically, you just keep shooting him until he keeps shooting out bombs and pink contraptions and charging at you like a failed German soldier. After a little bit, his can explodes and the platforms on the wall will show, and he'll keep spitting out flamethrowers. Just dodge. Just don't be on the level that he's on, and you're pretty much good. Afterwards, Tom from Tom and Jerry's cousin, it comes in and eats Werner, which you will have to fight this cat and the ghost mice that he spits out. Upon defeat, you'll realize that the cat was a machine controlled by Vermin, so if the cat was a robot and Werner was controlling him, does that mean all those ghost rats are rats that did not agree with Vermin and he killed them? Yikes. Command number 15, Cagney Carnation. The final first world boss that honestly isn't that bad. This wilted wallflower turns into a psychopath and literally looks like a nightmare that would happen in a really 1930s cartoon. Cagney will constantly spit out seeds that will turn into a couple things depending on the color. Get ready for the pink ones to parry. After you damage him, and not only that, once in a while he'll shoot out his face on the lower or the bottom half of the screen in order to damage you. Once he takes enough damage, he'll turn to Overgrow from Danny Phantom and pretty much encompassate the bottom of the board, which will with thorns, and it will consume 2 of the platforms at once. So basically, this flower needed to be uprooted, and I can't think of any more flower jokes. Next one. Come in number 14, Ribby and Croaks. Literally the only frog duo that made me want to make them croak even more. They're basically boxer brothers. One of them will shoot boxing glove after images, some are parryable, while the other one shoots out fireflies that will dive bomb into you and are easily destroyable. After taking a little bit of damage, one of them will go to the other side and turn into a fan and shooting electric balls. I don't know. Basically, electric balls that will... 1 second, ladies and gentlemen. One sec. Whoops, looks like I overlooked one. Sorry. Going back to number 24, this will only take a moment. Mr. Chims. Literally the final of the casino bosses. Mr. Chims is a crane game monkey. You will have to do a game of match 2 cards by parrying them before you can even damage him. Once you get all of them flipped, that's basically the end of the game. Mr. Chims is easily the most dodgeable boss in the game because he will go randomly and his symbol attacks will barely hit you. But basically, this monkey is just one trained monkey. And that's it. Going back to Ribby and Croaks. Once you fight them on both sides, one of them will roll into the other's mouth and they'll become a slot machine. And you can't hurt them until you hit the slot machine and begin the torturous game that accompanies. Either it will be platforms that will either be flame down or flame up, implementing that you will have to jump or duck. One of them will become platforms that have spikes, so you need to make sure you get onto platform while you shoot. And the other one will be platforms with bouncing balls, where you gotta have perfect timing. Fail to defeat them there, and you'll have to parry their arm once again in order to let it rip, and basically croak these 2 morons. And they are the hardest boss of the first island. Coming in number 13, Captain Brinybeard. One of the first bosses in the third island is quite honestly what happens when Bluto from Popeye gets actual cojones to actually go through the plot. He will keep shooting ink balls at you by using an octopus, and also he has some sea friends who will help. He's got catfish that will go onto the pier to charge at you. He's got a shark. He's got a Jaws ripoff that will come and jump out and then slowly go back. You can shoot him, but it doesn't work. And he'll have a squid that will release ink that will do what a blooper in Mario Kart does and ink up your screen. You can damn well shoot all of these obstacles, so they won't be much of a problem. Also, there's a barrel hanging from you, and it will keep moving back and forth. And once it gets angry enough, it will drop whenever you're under it. So dodge that. Once the captain is basically useless as ever, the ship takes over and opens its big mouth and revealing a uvula. And no, that doesn't mean it's a girl ship. If you watch Monster House, you'll get that joke. The uvula will shoot out fireballs at you that go into the same circle pattern as Mr. Wheezy. Not only that, but once the uvula gets mad enough, he'll release a sonic howl that's all pink, which means you can parry it if you want, or you can just duck and keep shooting in order to avoid damage. Finish this up, and this thing is set up for the shipyard. Coming in number 12, Sally Stage Play. The only actress Hollywood would definitely never... Oh, no, wait. Hollywood has gotten rid of a lot of actresses. She's a terrible actress. Sally Stage Play plays basically every woman's dream play, the story of her life. On her wedding, she will constantly do a screwdriver dive toward you diagonally, which is very dodgeable. She'll throw fans on the field that will kind of hurt you. And she'll release little remote control mice that will go throughout the stage and kind of hit you. Once you kill her husband, basically that... Oh, no, wait, you don't need to do that. Basically, once you defeat her in this stage, she'll get married and have her kids throw bottles at you in the house stage. Basically, the attacks are basically the same, just with a little extra help. And then afterwards, she'll turn into a giant angel and use the stage props to attack you by having people do a tidal wave and meteors at you, but these are all dodgeable if you pay attention. Afterwards, for the final act of the play, while the rest of the cast is doing the final bow, she's flying up as an angel, while her parasol is doing a Beyblade move throughout the stage. Just keep using the secret attacks until she's done, and that's final curtain for her. Coming in number 11, Wally Warbles. One of my favorite flying bosses. Wally Warbles is a giant cuckoo bird. Seriously, he's literally in a cuckoo clock. He'll shoot eggs at you that make Yoshi blush. And also, his face will turn into a finger pistol that will release 3 missiles that go into an intricate pattern. And some of his little baby birds will constantly charge at you too with nails on their head. And of course, one of them will be parryable, so make sure you get that in. After you defeat him, his little Einstein of a brat will take over, having eggs surround him as a force field that will spread out and wide as depending, so you can get in close and shoot him, or you can stay up far away. Also, he'll have a ray gun, which makes him like Bird Jimmy Neutron or something. Once you defeat the brat, his father is on a stretcher with some other birds, shooting pills and everything. I prefer using the lob bomber on this because you'll be up here, he'll be down here, so lob them so that he keeps getting damage. Once that fight's over, the paramedics start seasoning that rotisserie chicken. This is the fastest I've ever talked, and I'm annoyed by it. Coming in at number 10, Hilda Berg, the first flying boss of the game, and quite easily Betty Boop if she decided to go into the field of astronomy. She is a giant blimp. She is a blimp who constantly does that annoying laugh. Yeah, shut it. She'll throw torpedoes at you and also turn into one of 3 constellations. She'll either turn into a cloudy Taurus, which all of these look like they belong in a Cloudian deck of Yu-Gi-Oh! She'll turn into a Taurus and have the horns charge at you in a straight pattern, easily dodgeable. She'll turn into a Sagittarius, where she'll shoot arrows at you, easily dodgeable. And then she'll turn to Gemini twins that shoot fire at you, easily dodgeable. All these constellation attacks are basically dodgeable. And then when she gets a headache, she turns into a giant moon, and that's when things get annoying. Flying saucers will come out this way, and once you go under them, they'll shoot a ray, so you gotta make sure to dodge it really easily, and just keep shooting her moon face. I got no joke for that. Continuing. Number 9, Phantom Express. The final boss before the final level. Well, because you have to beat him in order to progress. Phantom Express is basically the train that Casper rode on in the beginning of Spirited Beginning. If none of you have watched Casper Spirited Beginning, you are either too young or old and you don't know what it was. Aunt Becky stars in it, so start finding it. Phantom Express starts the game at the end of while you're on a side cart. You have to keep going throughout the cart. He'll start off as a ghost with only eyes on his hands. He'll shoot eyeballs at you. And you got to parry the cart in order to move closer or away from him. And little pumpkins will fly by with pink candy bars that will hit the switch, which will make you go forward or backward depending on. Once you defeat this ghost without the use of a proton pack or Luigi pack, you will go to the center of the train where a skeleton head will pop up and 2 bony limbs, and they will shuffle between the 3 cars, which, all honesty, is pretty fun. You will have to hit the head more often than the hands, so make sure you're underneath the head and use spread shot to do the most damage. Next is 2 really weird looking things that look like Tim Burton. You know what? Just watch Nostalgia Critic's Dark Toons thing, and you'll pretty much see some stuff that resemble them. Basically, they will both shoot lightning out of their breath like they're a thunder type, and basically you got to be on the opposite side because the beam will only go to the middle cart, so you're safe. Once that one's done, just parry the cart twice before the second one can shoot off lightning. Keep shooting them, and they'll be done quick. Finally is the front of the train, where you will have to parry its tail as it runs like an iron horse, and its heart will be revealed. Shoot that enough times, and this train is derailed. Coming in number 8, Beppe the Clown. If there was ever a clown in the history of gaming that would make Pennywise and Joker look tame, it's Beppe the Clown. This carnival freak enjoys playing on the bumper cars for the first bit of the game. There are also shooting duck things that once you parry them, you can jump close to them without them hurting you. There will be a couple pink ones, so make sure you get that. Once Beppe the Clown charges a little bit, you can constantly shoot him while he's riding his bumper car. Afterwards, he'll turn into a balloon freak and his head will become a balloon, releasing balloon animal dogs to track you. They don't track you down, they just go in one direction, so just don't be in that direction. Also, parry the pink ones. And while that's going on, the roller coaster will start going, so you got to parry the nose and constantly jump over, not hitting the passengers because they will damage you. Once this clown is the balloon... let me try that again. Once this clown's balloon has been popped, he will start riding a literal jackass. No, seriously, he'll be riding a carousel donkey. And it will shoot either green horseshoes that will go in an erratic pattern, or he'll be riding a yellow one where the horseshoes will go on top and come straight down with a gap in between. And once that's done, he'll turn into that ride that's basically a umbrella that swings the stuff. And he'll shoot penguins that throw baseballs at you for some reason. Because anytime you think of a carnival, you think of penguins. Let's try not to remember Danny DeVito's penguin with that. Keep shooting, keep staying on his conveyor belt, keep staying on his platforms and avoid the high-speed roller coaster, and this clown is down for the count. Wah-ha! 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 Had to. Coming in number 7, Baroness von Bonbon, which is basically what I call a candy-coated bitch. Sensory warning for this video, just going to say right now, I will be putting an age restriction if I can. Baroness von Bonbon is what happens when Candyland and Vanellope Bon Sweets has a mental breakdown. You don't really fight her, but you'll fight one of a couple of her candy-coated minions out of her candy-coated castle, because everything is candy-coated with Baroness von Bonbon. You'll either fight a gumball machine that will constantly do a jig and just move throughout while shooting gumballs at you. He's very easy to dodge and very easy to kill. You'll have to go through a waffle where his sections will go in a pattern, which a flying waffle, which, again, easy to fight. You will have to defeat 3 of her henchmen. One of them is a muffin that will constantly be leaping like a frog and leaving a couple custards in his path that go diagonal for a bit. So jump when he jumps and get out of the way. You'll also get a jawbreaker that will constantly move like Miss Pac-Man. It doesn't really stop. It will go in a consistent pattern of where you are. So I say just get the what's it called? The finger gun that goes after the opponent, and just go around and around in a circle, and that will pretty much be it for that. You will also get a candy corn, which looks very vicious. Looks like something Timmy the Tooth would constantly fight. Again, I know how old you are if you don't get that joke. The candy corn will go in a pattern like this. It will go up, down, halfway through, and basically just go the opposite direction of it, and just keep using the tracker shooter. And I think that's all of them. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's all of the minions that she has. If I forget any, comment down below. And then that's when Baroness von Bonbon gets really mad. She makes the castle, her candy-coated castle, turn into a literal monster house situation where it will start to go at you, and so you'll have to be running the other way while she throws her head at you, and it goes one section, and basically tracks where you are. Basically use the tracker again as you're running, and this fight will be over, and it will be so, so sweet. Coming in number 6, Grim Matchstick. A platform boss everyone hates. He's basically a giant green dragon that looks like Dudley the Dragon if, he became super annoying. annoying-er. He will start off on the right side of the screen, shooting eye beams at you, and some of them are parryable. Just keep going on the platforms and keep shooting him, and then he'll shoot burning balls at you that will go in either like this, or opposite, or he'll shoot two that will go simultaneously, so just dash in between them when you can. Once that's done, he'll fly to the other side of the screen, open his mouth, and a marching band of flames will come up, which are annoying because some of them will jump at you, and you'll need to keep track of your platforming and them. And once those are dealt with, he'll turn into a three-headed dragon, which will shoot out fire and bubbles. Don't attack them because they'll just explode and go at you. One of his heads will turn into a flamethrower. And he is one of the most annoying bosses in the game, but not the most difficult. Once you get the platforming and the handling of where you're going and how you're shooting down, he's pretty much easier. This dragon is Dragon. Coming at number 5, Rumor Honeybottoms. This queen bee barely fights herself. The first section, she'll get Paul Blart Bee Cop in order to attack you, which all he does is just go, oi, 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 and just constantly move throughout the screen, which is annoying. He is very easy to tackle. And then after that, Rumor Honeybottoms. What does she do after that? I think, yeah, she'll come down with her magic wand and create a pink sphere where you will have to parry it in order to dodge it. She'll also release B bullet bills, copyright law. B bullet bills that will go in a pattern on the two sections of the board. So make sure you're prepared to dodge. And then afterwards, she'll turn into a giant plane and go to the bottom, and she'll raise a saw blade to this side and the side as well. Basically, you keep using the lobber, which is the bomb version, and beat her. All honesty, this is the one boss where I beat without getting any damage. After so many times of fighting her, I got it nailed down, and I managed to beat her without taking damage. I have the trophy to prove it, and I'm happy. Happy as a bee. Did I forget a section of her boss fight? Oh, right. The Oi 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 security guard will release these devices that will release little triangles that go in a little pattern, and some of them are parryable. Still annoying. Number 4, Jimmy the Great. You ain't never had a friend like me, and I don't want a friend like him. This genie is beyond annoying that even Robin Williams' genie would look at and say, okay, man, you need to calm down. Or Will Smith will say, hey, you gotta amp up the annoyingness. Jimmy the Great is the only boss in the game with too many phases to count. Like, I'm trying to... First off, he'll open up his chest of goodies, and they'll either consist of a whole bunch of gems and jewels that will just attack you, or swords. One of them will be pink, obviously to parry, and they'll come out and they'll go in the direction you are. So just zigzag and parry the pink one, and then once you shoot Jimmy the Great enough times, he will turn into stone pillars where you will have to shoot his face in order to progress. Watch out for the Tomb Raider saw blades that are in between so you don't get hurt. Then he'll turn into a sarcophagus where he will open it up and he's his own tongue in a galaxy void. He'll shoot planets at you. It's easy. Once you get your parries enough, bomb his tongue, keep shooting, and he'll go away. After that, he'll copy you and turn into a Cuphead puppet where he will shoot finger pistols again while miming walking. It's annoying. And after that, his head goes big. He turns giant with kind of Bill Cipher-ish pyramids with eyes that will shoot out dark beams in a cross pattern. Which again, most annoying part of the boss fight. I think that was 5 stages in that boss fight. Jimmy the Great. Go back to genie school because you done screwed up. Coming in at number 3, Cala Maria. A pinup mermaid. Ding! Basically, this mermaid makes Ariel look... Actually, no, Cala Maria is annoying. She has so many attacks that are annoying. For one, she'll call up pufferfish. Some of them are parryable. And you will have to dodge them in the erratic pattern. She will also grab a fish that will jump at you, which is easy dodgeable. And she'll also do a siren call to release swordsmen. 3 swordsmen who will go in a pattern depending on where you are. So you got to be quick in order to not get hit by those. Afterwards, some electric eels will bite her, turning her into a creepy Medusa mermaid with her octopus hair becoming eels, which is annoying. After that, a bunch of electric eels will come out and shoot electricity at you, and she will also do the Medusa eye gaze thing, which is undodgeable. After you fight a little bit more with this saucy sea wench, her head will decapitate and it will go into a cave which will have obstacles. And you will have to follow her and keep shooting at her. Make sure you got enough parries and then use your special attack to let her have it. Finally, I can take this girl out for some calamari. Coming in at number 2, the Devil. Surprisingly, the final boss in the game is not the hardest one, in my opinion. The Devil was quite honestly quite good once you get his attack patterns down. He'll conjure up balls that will go around. Some are parryable. He'll conjure up flames that will go around and attack you. One is parryable. He'll turn into a goat head and have his hooves go to the bottom of the screen and click. Some of his imp minions will constantly walk around the stage. And he'll also turn into a dragon head that will go one side of the screen but stop. Make sure you watch which side he's on so you can quickly get to the other side. Once you do some more damage to him, he'll jump out of his literal skin, his skeleton, which makes him look like Brooke. Will jump into a sinkhole. You will have to follow him. And there will be his giant head with some poker chip platforms. Bombs will come out of his ear and will form from his eye and come out of his ear. Most of them are parryable, so if they're pink, parry them. He will also have some 2 big imp gargoyle things that make Brooklyn from gargoyles look overweight. They will keep shooting at you. If you shoot them, they will fall down, and he will constantly conjure up some other things to attack him. Once the boss fight gets almost over, he will start tearing up and crying, which there will only be 1 chip platform left. Hope you got enough health to survive, because sometimes the bombs will fall and you will have to jump and dash back onto the platform, keep shooting, and after that, the Devil is done and without a cross or holy water. Number 1, Dr. Call's Robot. This Eggman imposter is the worst. Well, not the worst, but for me, he is the worst boss for good reasons. And he is the hardest boss in the game. You'll have to fight Dr. Call's Robot, which basically is a ripoff of the Iron Giant. He will have 3 attacks going at you. He will have 3 attacks going at you simultaneously. One of them at the top of the head, which will be a satellite dish laser, which, depending on where you are, it will shoot far enough. On the center will be... On the bottom first, it will be like missiles that will go like this. Will go like this. Will go across the board. So make sure you dodge those. And a barrier will come out of this one. It's pink. Parry it to deactivate it. Once you cause enough damage to all 3, the Tin Man's heart will come out of him and you will have to shoot that. And after that, the head starts going malfunction and starts swirling around the board. Afterwards, torpedoes will come out. If you shoot them or cause them to crash into each other, the Doctor's skull motif will show electrifying. Once that's done, the Doctor will come out of the robot and releasing this power gem, which will, as you continue flying, it will constantly go in an erratic pattern, much in the same way Wally Warbles, I'm going back a little bit, will do a feather frenzy thing, where the feathers will constantly go in a pattern, so you will have to constantly dodge and keep track. Don't keep track of where the doctor is. Keep more track of where the attacks are coming from so you can dodge them perfectly. Much like Dr. Call's robot. Once you shoot him enough times, the doctor's done and Eggman can claim that copyright check. Oh, 28 bosses in almost 40 minutes. That's a record, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you enjoyed this list. Hope you enjoyed me rambling and making fun jokes. Like, comment, subscribe down below. And next week, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be doing a new segment. And for you Kamen Rider fans, you will all have to count up your sins. This is Gamer K, logging out.